Bringing a new car to market is a long and arduous process for any automaker. There are years of development work behind the scenes, from initial concept designs through to engineering and then gearing up for series production. And for those of us in the automotive media, it's sometimes a long wait to see a car go from auto show concept to series production vehicle. The Mercedes-Benz EQS electric sedan is probably one of the best examples of that. It first broke cover as the Vision EQS concept car back in September 2019. And today, after nearly 2 years of teaser videos, dropped hints, and an agonising slow leak of information, we finally got to see it in the metal for the first time. Unveiled online, as has become the norm in the auto world in the age of COVID, the all-new Mercedes-Benz EQS is a car that will get its first auto show debut in production form next week at the Beijing Motor Show. And the timing of this reveal isn't coincidental. Like the internal combustion engine S-Class sedan it's intended to be sold alongside, the Mercedes-Benz EQS is a car that will appeal to the increasingly large Chinese upper middle and upper classes, socioeconomic groups that are both discerning customers, especially of non-Chinese products, and may even have a driver to take care of the duties of actually driving the car, leaving them to enjoy the rear. To put it nicely, this is yet another high-end, high-ticket, ultra-luxurious electric performance sedan that the majority of us are unlikely to ever have the money to buy. But if everything we've seen thus far from the automotive market has taught us anything, it's that high-end, high-ticket electric cars help pave the way for more affordable models. Tesla did it with the S and X, paving the way to the more affordable Model 3 and Model Y, although obviously even these are still out of the price range of many consumers. And Audi has done the same thing, starting with its expensive e-tron SUV and gradually bringing out more affordable, lower-cost models. So today, even though the EQS is out of the price range of most of us, let's look at what this offers, examine where it sits in the electric vehicle marketplace, ask if it sets new standards or risks being also ran, and pose a question that I'm sure will cause some consternation. And the question is this. We know that Tesla enjoyed significant conquest sales from all of Germany's luxury car brands, including Mercedes-Benz, when it launched the Tesla Model S. With the EQS, complete with Benz's legendary interior quality and refinement, will it help win back some of those customers who transitioned to Tesla? Let's get stuck in. First, the looks. The EQS isn't quite as futuristic in its looks as the Vision EQS we saw a few years ago, and that's pretty common in the auto industry. The overall shape of the vehicle has morphed into something a little closer to what we'd expect of an S-Class sedan, with smooth lines, long bonnet, and elegant, sweeping roof. This isn't designed as an out-and-out performance sports car, although, as with any S-Class and S-Class derivative, it can most certainly perform, and the wheels on the production EQS are set up far more for ride, comfort and handling than the obscenely large wheels of the Vision EQS. The front end of the EQS loses the ultra-narrow headlights of the concept and gains a set of peepers that are more instantly recognisable as S-Class in their origin, although those two headlights are joined together by a very thin LED light bar that sits just under the bonnet lip. Mercifully, the insanely large front grille of the concept car, which was certainly over the top, has been replaced with a more correctly proportioned flat grille area, complete with the three-dimensional star pattern that's already found on the Mercedes AMG lineup. Front and centre, a large Mercedes-Benz badge, which frankly feels like one of the largest I've seen on a Mercedes. The rear-view cameras of the concept have been similarly replaced with mirrors. The auto industry may want to switch to cameras, but it seems legislators are still dragging their feet. Despite the aerodynamic drag caused by traditional rear-view mirrors, however, Mercedes-Benz is keen to point out that the EQS has the lowest coefficient of drag of any production car on the market today, 0.20. That's just 0.01 higher than the GM EV1, which to this day, 20 years after it was roaming the streets of California, is still the most aerodynamic electric car ever produced. Remember that drag coefficient though, because it's going to play an important part in the car's incredible range. But for now, let's finish off the exterior. If I had to categorise the look of the EQS in one word, I think it would be understated. Mercedes-Benz clearly knows its target market and customers, and it's opted for evolutionary rather than revolutionary design language. Squint and it's clearly an S-Class. Look more closely and it's an S-Class with a difference. The two-tone paint job of the vehicle chosen by Mercedes-Benz to spearhead the launch press material is certainly different and makes the EQS feel more like a Maybach S-Class than anything else. Maybe that's a conscious decision to prepare customers for the sticker shop. Benz hasn't listed a starting price yet, but I'd expect it to be somewhere north of $150,000 minimum, or maybe it's just another nod to its upcoming Chinese market launch, where two-tone cars are more common and more sought after. Inside, the EQS embodies the usual premium luxury you'd associate with the brand. There are plush seats front and rear, which are fully electronically adjustable, with controls on each door rather than the seat sides, and there's a mix of materials in the EQS cabin depending on the variant you choose, ranging from traditional leather and a choice of wood trims through to neotex and laser-cut plastic trim pieces with adaptive backlighting. The driver's console features Mercedes-Benz all-digital full-colour display, and those that opt for it will also get the massive hyperscreen, a full-width, fully customisable touchscreen system with haptic feedback that extends from one side of the car to the other. It features full natural voice speech recognition and some in-car commands that can be carried out without requiring the driver to say, "Hey Mercedes," to activate the system. That full-width screen, optional, I should remind you, you can configure a more conventional dashboard layout for the interior if you want it. It's designed to be accessible by the front seat passenger as well as driver, and that translates to a rear-mounted screen that, also optionally extra, can interact with the car's infotainment system. Ben says that rear seat passengers can pick music, set their own personalised profiles to enable them to fully enjoy their ride, and even have control over the destination. Again, this is a nod to those who wish to be driven in the EQS rather than do the driving, not necessarily to give children rear seat control over what happens next. I can't even imagine who thought that would be a good idea. Before we go to the specifications, I also need to talk about the in-cabin air filtration system, which, like so many premium electric cars on the market today, claims that it can not only remove pollution from the air entering into the cabin, but can also help minimise infection from airborne viruses. Activated carbon filters remove nitrogen oxides and sulfur dioxides, while the final stage of the Energizing Air Control Plus system can capture more than 86% of viruses entering the car when its filters are new. When the filters are in the so-called aged condition, that figure sits at around 80%. There are also scents and sounds that you can customize if you like your driving experience to be themed. But honestly, the last time someone from our team tried to cover this, they ended up laughing a lot and we scrapped it. So I'm stopping there. Let's talk about tech. While the EQS is built on a brand new ground-up platform, it doesn't share a whole lot with the S-Class except the brand vibe, design language, and name heritage. It has a lot of the onboard tech you'd expect from a high-end Mercedes. The company says that there are up to 350 sensors in the EQS, encompassing everything from speech recognition in the cabin to lighting sensors, road sensors, and of course sensors to assist its semi-autonomous driver system. It offers things like active lane keeping assist, active steering assist, active distance assist, which is a very competent, smart cruise control designed to keep you a set distance from the car in front, evasive steering assist, and active lane change assist. It's not quite fully autonomous, but it's well on its way to a future where that's possible. And because the EQS is the first Mercedes-Benz to get over-the-air software updates, it does hint that that functionality is coming into play in the near future. Add to this blind spot warning systems, active parking assist with rear axle steering, and an optional parking package with a surround view system, and you should be able to keep your oh-so-expensive car free from bangs and scrapes. To keep the driver alert and safe, there's a standard micro-sleep warning system that watches the driver's eyes to monitor for drowsiness and driver inattention. Until a fully autonomous system is in operation, I think it's essential, especially if the car is doing some but not all of the driving work, to keep the driver alert, and I'd love to see this feature become standard in all cars. Another feature I'd love to see as standard in all cars is called Drive Away Assist feature. It warns the driver if they've accidentally hit the wrong pedal at low speed and should prevent the kind of situations where someone accidentally accelerates into a wall instead of stopping in a parking space. To the drivetrain. The EQS will launch with two variants, the EQS 450 Plus or EQS 580 4MATIC. The former has a rear-wheel drivetrain with 245 kilowatts of power, while the latter has an all-wheel drivetrain with 385 kilowatts of power. As is usually the case, the all-wheel drivetrain is quicker off the line, doing a stoplight sprint in 4.1 seconds. The rear-wheel drive one does it in 5.5 seconds, and both vehicles have a top speed at 130 miles per hour, or 209 kilometers per hour. Of course, conversely, in keeping with pretty much the rest of the EV market, the longest range variant of the EQS is the 450 Plus, offering an expected range in excess of 770 kilometers, or 478 miles, on the WLTP test cycle. We don't have US range figures yet, but expect about 90% of that to be good for an EPA estimate. Part of this long-legged behaviour is thanks to the aerodynamics. Some of it is the battery pack, which is a new cell chemistry for Mercedes-Benz. While the company says it's sourcing all materials for the EQS in an ethically responsible manner and is using 100% renewable energy and carbon offsetting to achieve a net zero carbon production process, the EQS's battery does still make use of cobalt in its cathodes. That said, the cobalt is now 10% of total cathode content, which is far better than previous battery packs used by the company. The battery pack capacity, 107.8 kilowatt hours usable, is the largest battery pack that Mercedes-Benz has made to date, but the power electronics on board are also better than anything before from the company. There's the ability to use up to 290 kilowatts of regenerative braking, and the onboard battery charging system is rated at 9 kilowatts from a standard AC domestic charging station. Meanwhile, on the road, there's 200 kilowatt CCS quick charging capabilities, meaning rapid and convenient refueling. And in keeping with most luxury and high-end EVs coming to market, plug and charge is now standard, so you don't have to worry about faffing around with charging apps or RFID cards to refuel. Of course, I have not scratched the surface here. There's plenty I haven't gone into in depth, like the automatic doors or an intelligent software within the car that decides what you can or can't do with a touchscreen that's legal when you're driving, depending on where you live in the world. But suffice to say, I think the Mercedes-Benz EQS fits into the market exactly where I expected it to be. It's a high-end, luxurious, exclusive electric car with a similarly high price point. It will cross-shop against the regular Mercedes-Benz S-Class, which will continue to be sold, for now, with its regular choice of drivetrains. But it will also cross-shop against the upcoming Lucid Air sedan, a car I've personally ridden in and can attest delivers the high-end Mercedes-Benz experience. Naturally, I've not driven the EQS yet, what with it just getting revealed today, but I'm not entirely sure it will cross-shop against anything that Tesla makes right now. And that's because, let's be honest, Tesla has never been a premium brand in the same space as Mercedes-Benz. Both brands have a very different focus. Tesla is heavy on tech and performance, while Benz is more about opulence, quality, and going fast when required. But despite that, I do think some of Tesla's customers, the ones who left Mercedes-Benz for Tesla, may come back. Tesla's service experience in some markets is still subpar, and Mercedes-Benz customers have traditionally been willing to pay more for a better experience. And Model S still wipes the floor with EQS in terms of performance. Until an AMG version comes out, expect that to remain so. But to my mind, many Benz customers who went to Tesla because Benz wasn't offering a high-end electric model may want to go back to Mercedes. Don't expect this to be cheap though. As I've said, I think it'll be about 150 grand as a good guesstimate. But if you're willing to spend that money, I'm expecting you'd be paying close attention to this video. For the rest of us though, it's sadly another car we can't afford, like the majority of Teslas and majority of EVs on the market. But as Mercedes-Benz over the years have passed that technology down to more affordable cars, expect some of the tech in the EQS to eventually end up in cars we can buy. We just have a longish wait for that to happen. That's it for today. As always, thanks to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreon supporters. Special thanks to our $50 a month Patreons, Regine Fellows, Gordon C., Paul Conway, Laura Sandborn, Anthony Coates, Denny Hyde, Sean Ueda, Anonymous Freak and Tesla in the Gong, and our deepest gratitude to our $100 a month Patreon supporters, John Lyons, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerbeck, Will Graylin, and Ian. If you'd like to join these wonderful ranks of supporters, you'll find links below to Patreon, Bitcoin, and Ko-fi. You can chat with the team and TE fans over at Discord, and if you'd like to buy some TE swag, well, just head over to our Redbubble store. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving!